civilization is going to come to an end?
No, I don't think most people is aware of that.
Why?
Because of their plans of what they're doing now, of the nuclear plants, planning those kind of a future. They are not aware of how long this civilization will go on. And what I have seen, their plans are for destructions instead of life. The air pollution, water pollution, no one is solving that. And only a very few people are waking up to understand how to survive. We can see in all over the world prophecies, native people, biblical prophecies also comes to pass. And all this comes to one thing, and it all leads to destruction. And I find that most everywhere I have been, everyone who has been Americanized have been confused. No matter what country it is, these countries that have been Americanized are confused, and I see that this society is very much confused to the extent that they cannot cross the street without getting run over, so they have to stop on the red light and go on the green one, because we live in a confused society. And we can take a look on simple things such as even food that we eat today. We have become so confused that we don't know what we're eating. All the instant food that we find on the shelves, we read the ingredients on there. The ingredients that has a word on there that goes from across the box there. What educated man knows what that means? With all the education that we have in our universities, we don't even know what that word means. But we're eating it. So actually, we don't even know what we're eating.
We're very removed.
Yes, we're so far removed from natural way of life. We don't know what we're eating, and we don't know what we're drinking. We're just here. And as I see it, everyone becomes a robot. Even his mind is controlled. No one makes his own decision. And this is the way of life that has been shoved on Mr. Indian. And I find that our Indian people are not satisfied. They're not comfortable. There's unrest throughout this whole nation among the native people. Why? I take it that there is no failure in life. There is no such thing as failure in life until you try to be somebody else. There is no way you can fail if you are yourself. And this is what's happened to the Indian people. Many of our Indian people are not themselves, and so they are not satisfied. They're not happy. But when we turn around and look at the past of our ancestors, there was a way of life in which we found comfort, in which we found satisfaction. There is nothing that can take the place of being satisfied and being happy in life. Another man brought his value system here, which is different from what we've always had here. So then we find our Indian people caught in two ways of life. But over all these years, the American people have studied the Indians. They have dug up this earth, seeking evidence, history of our people. They have dug up the graves of our people, studying their bones. Why not study their ancestors? Don't tell me anything about the disease that we had when they come here. Don't tell me that the Indians were deformed. Tell the students that Napoleon was deformed. He had one short leg. Tell the students that Benjamin Franklin had syphilis, which affected his mind. That's why he was out there fooling around with lightning. Tell the students that George Washington had black kids. Don't be searching my history. Search your own history. Then we will find out who we are. Then the judge don't have to tell us who we are. I've been to Switzerland, Germany, Belgium, all over. In Switzerland, they have preserved their castle. I visited their old churches there at the castle, which only seated about 24 people. I guess they had 24 Christians in Switzerland, or in that area. Right next door is the torture chambers, in which they tortured their people. Then tell me who the savage is. And this was happening long before Columbus came here. That in these old castles they have preserved their torture chambers there. I have seen it. And it made me wonder, you know, now who's the savage? You know? Here in America, we don't have that kind of evidence. We have no evidence of prisons. We had no jailhouses. Does it mean that we had no laws? Or does it mean that we had no criminals? What was history like prior to Columbus? We know. We understand. We had to establish these survival schools to give our children the rightful education. So we begin to teach them our religion. We begin to teach them the true history of the past. So no longer are we going to sit around and listen to a teacher telling us that Columbus discovered America. So we're telling our children that Columbus didn't discover anything. I went to Switzerland and I landed in Geneva more than a year ago. But I didn't go before the press and say that I discovered Switzerland. I went to Africa last October, but I didn't say that I discovered Africa because there was already people there. So it was the same thing when Columbus came here. So these things we are teaching our children today. A lot of times it was thought that we were teaching them how to be militant. The FBI's, their agents have been there time over and over to visit our schools to see what we were teaching. But we were not teaching them anything wrong because we're believers in the truth. So we're only bringing out the truth to our children. And that's why we're establishing these survival schools to give them the rightful education. So the native people are believers in the truth and not in facts. A lot of times I go before the press. They ask me how many people I represent because they believe in the democratic form of government. They want to know how many followers I have. But I let them know that I'm not representing 1,000 people, but I represent the truth. And it doesn't take 1,000 people behind me to prove the truth. If it's the truth, you have to admit that it is the truth. If we believe in majority to bring about the truth, where did President Nixon go? Majority elected him, but majority couldn't make him do the right thing. And if people in this country believes in majority so much, if I would ask them, let's go down the street down here and burn every church house on the corner, how many followers would I get? Nobody would follow me to burn down these church houses. But it is true that majority of people kill Jesus Christ. If people followed majority, they would follow me. But I don't believe in majority. Majority can be mistaken.